Hello, Miss Noele Richmond.
Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming in early.
You're absolutely welcome.
That's what we were thinking. I think everyone liked what we're doing, so. Anyhow, what we're gonna do is welcome, coming, and we're gonna have 5 questions that we're gonna ask you, and at the end of those questions, you can ask us questions if you like. So we'll start off with Diane reading you question number 1.
Please tell us about yourself, your background, and why you believe you would be the best qualified to serve as the Ione City Council member.
Well, I'm pretty much a lifelong resident of the Ione area. We moved up here in 1973, moved away from Ione a few times to go to school, and lived in Nevada for a while, then came back. My background is, like I said, I was raised here, very actively involved in all types of extracurriculars growing up, and then as an adult, I've been very active with our school district, both at the site level as a site council president for Ione Elementary for 6 or 7 years. Worked on keeping Science Camp alive in Ione Elementary because they were going to get rid of that. Worked on the district advisory committee. Worked on the bond effort to get the bond passed to build all the new buildings at the junior high. And the last real project I worked on with the school district was the district advisory committee that worked on coming up with a solution regarding the school sites in terms of consolidating high schools, junior highs, and that was about a year-long committee. I'm also very involved in community level activities. I was president of the Ione Picnic Association for, how old's my daughter? I started working and volunteering in 98. Finally backed away from homecoming about 2015. So I'm also volunteer a lot around the community. I'm not a member of the IBCA, but I do a lot of volunteer activities. I work shifts at the fireworks booth, help out wherever I need to be, help out. I've just gotten involved with Rotary, Ione Rotary, and I was the Ag Boosters president for both the high school ag programs, ag education programs for 7 years. I'm very deeply involved with the county fair in the junior livestock area. I've been part of the Junior Livestock Advisory Committee since, really active since about 2006. I am the second vice president for the County Farm Bureau. And let's see, I was also a Grange leader, which is an equivalent to 4-H. We started up a Grange in Ione Gold Country Grange for 7 years. I currently work for CAL FIRE. I've been a state employee for almost 21 years now. With that background, along with a lot of the things that I've done locally in my volunteer efforts, and the experience I've had with the state and state funding and budgets and having to pass budget change proposals and write multi-million-dollar budget change proposals, I think that I have a pretty good grasp on understanding how governmental funding works, and a lot of the intricacies and the regulations and the titles and the penal, and all government codes that go along with that. Additionally, I moved back here to raise my children. I thought it was a good community. We have a great community, and I think that all that kind of wrapped up in one, and my passion for this area and this county would suit me and qualify me as a good candidate for council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Question number 2. Do you have specific goals you want to achieve in the 4-year term of this appointment, and do you have longer-term goals you would like to see the city move toward in the next 10 years?
I think that, short-term goals, I know the city has had issues, as a lot of small communities, small counties have issues with budgets and funding, and I would, short-term goals, I would love to see, the city budget stabilize, get to a point to where we can move forward with bigger projects. I think that the city needs to, I would love to see more commercial, industrial businesses come in, because that's where the tax base is. It's not in homes. I would also, even that we do have housing developments going in like Wildflower, and they're building out the next phase of the golf course. This county is sorely lacking in multifamily homes, whether it be condos or, identified, duplex, triplex kind of things. Because having kids in their early 20s, excuse me, it's very difficult. It's a very expensive time to be renting in California, and it's very difficult to find affordable housing. And I think we tend to lose a lot of our younger workforce because of that, because they can't afford to live here and work locally. So they go to where they can more readily afford, lodging and living in a home closer to where they work. I think that we also, we've got the sewer plant issue. We have, Mule Creek, the issue at Mule Creek State Prison with the water there. I think that's something that, I know that the city has been working towards trying to get some resolution on that for years. And I think the biggest thing short term is just kind of getting the house in order, per se, and then working towards sustainable growth, both in homes and in businesses, commercial, industrial businesses coming into the city.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. What do you see as Ione's most pressing issue, and how can you be a part of the solution to help solve it?
I think the most pressing issue, there's some very important issues, but I think I touched on it a little bit on my last answer. I do think that we need to make sure that our infrastructure is solid for the city, whether that's water, sewer, tax base. It kind of melts together. I think, but I do think that we just need to, the most pressing issue is just to make sure, and it looks like from everything I've read and followed, that the city's been moving towards getting more of a balanced budget, and I think that that's a huge thing moving forward. I think that's probably the most pressing issue, because without solvency, you can't really go and explore and try and tackle new projects or new issues if we're always worried about the budget.
If you're appointed to city council as a prospective council member, are you currently aware of any potential conflicts of interest which would prevent you from fully participating in council decisions? That's the first half.
No.
Good. Second half there is, in addition to regular council meetings, you will have committee assignments that involve both daytime and nighttime meetings. Do you have the ability to fulfill this requirement?
Yes, I've spoken with my work superiors, and they're aware that I have put in an interest letter for this and fully support my decision. I've spoken with Stacy because I did have a concern working for CAL FIRE. Sometimes during fire season, I do get sent out for support for our incidents, or if we have serious accidents. I'm part of the team that does reviews of that, but those are few and far between. But I am able to meet the day and evening commitments.
Thank you.
Number 5, I think you covered most of it. The only section that you haven't. Do you regularly attend the council meetings, either by Zoom or in person?
Actually, I don't. I've come infrequently. I try to. It's one of those things where I see it and I say, oh, I need to go. And then because of some of my other commitments, it just falls off my radar. So I would say I'm not a regular attendee.
Okay.
All right. You have any questions for us?
I think just pertaining to question number 4, when you're talking about daytime and nighttime meetings, can you, other than council meetings and maybe some of the, like the Parks and Recreation Board and some of the other things that would apply to?
There's a whole sheet of committees, and you can choose to be on them or not. I mean, usually the mayor appoints them, and we just about ratify it.
They usually get on 1 or 2, and during COVID, most of them don't even exist anymore, so it's.
They don't exist, or they're Zoom. Or the other thing is, there's always an alternative too. There's usually, most committees, there's 2 main people and there's an alternative. So if you can't make it, usually someone else can fill in.
Right.
And sometimes it's rare when somebody can't make the meeting. We try to share that a little bit, but lately it's just been hit and miss, and
There's
almost
been
all
no
Zoom
meetings.
anyway, so most of us are someplace
Yeah.
else watching in.
So
That's what I thought. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, so if you did get called up to work, someone's gonna back you up.
Then once in a while, we can do a project where there'd be meetings maybe once a week where it's something that's really of some intense nature, where you got a deadline or something to meet. Those are infrequent with COVID and everything. We feel like we lost a year, at least I do anyway, because of the whole thing. But I feel like we're getting back to a little more normal, a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Once in a blue moon, you get a meeting like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right, precisely. Other than that, I brought copies of my resume. I don't know if you guys have seen those, so if you need copies, I do have them. And, I love this community, and I think that I would be an asset to the council and to the city. I think that I do have a lot to offer. But other than that, I have no other questions for you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you coming in
Yeah, no
and
problem.
offering. It's a
Thank you.
huge thing. I mean, it's,
Thank you.
You're more than welcome to stick around and watch the show, or you can go, or go come back, whatever you wanna do.